Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a review, first impressions, comparison kind of thing. I'm going to be comparing two beauty sponges. Now, this is the new JUNO & Co. Velvet sponge. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. I think I saw Nikki Tutorials and Kathleen Lights talk about it, but other than that, I haven't really seen it being talked about as much. This did pop up on my Instagram. Kind of had already wanted to try it, but then when I saw that they did a review on it, I thought it'd be a really cool idea to kind of compare it to another sponge. And I'm using the Real Techniques regular beauty sponge. This goes for I think $10, so it is cheaper than the Beauty Blender. It is more affordable and it's a great sponge, but this is only $6. So I'm gonna see if one of them is better than the other, if I recommend this one better, or if this one works great. These are already damp, and in the size you are gonna see that this one's a little bit bigger. Now both of these have like a flat kind of edge. I don't like the bottom of this, and it has this hole sort of looking thing on it. I don't like it, and this feels like kind of like when you burn velvet, you know how it gets like crunchy? That's how the bottom feels. So I don't think I want to use that on like my face. I don't know, we'll see. It doesn't feel wet like at all. This one feels like a little bit damp, but we'll see how it works with foundation. I'm going to be using the Becca Illuminating Perfecting Foundation. Since this is a little bit more of a watery consistency, I'll see if it does a difference with the sponges. And then on top of this one, I'm going to be putting on the Matte and Poreless Fit Me Foundation. This is also watery, but it's a little bit thicker consistency. And this is supposed to be luminous, and this is supposed to be matte. So we'll see if it does a difference. Since it is different kind of formula, we'll see how it works with that. And I'm going to be using it with concealer and with setting powder. Let's get started. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you turn on the little notification bell, so whenever I do upload, you're the first to know. And yeah, let's get started. I already have my face primed. We're going to start off with the Becca Illuminating Foundation. So we're just going to put a little bit of drops all over the face. I love this applicator. I love that it's like the little dropper kind of thing. That should be enough. Since I'm going to be putting another foundation on top, that should be enough. On this side, I'm going to be putting on the JUNO & Co. Velvet Sponge. See how it works. Okay, right away I can tell that my coverage looks better with the JUNO Velvet Sponge than with the Real Techniques one. I feel like the JUNO one didn't really soak up a lot of the product, and it just kind of helped buff it around better. And the Real Techniques one, it kind of soaked it up a little bit more. So I feel like I need a little bit more on this side in order to look even, because right now, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, this side looks a little bit more covered than this side, but I'm not going to add any more. We're just going to see how it works throughout the rest of the video. Now I'm going to go in with the Matte and Poreless Fit Me Foundation, see how it works with this one.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do.
Okay, so that's with the second foundation. As you can see, kind of like underneath my eyes, this section looks a little bit more patchy than this section. I feel like over here is a little bit more even all throughout. And here I can see still some of like my acne scars and just a little bit of like redness there. And even on my chin right here, I can see a little bit more redness than on this side. So far, I'm liking the JUNO & Co. Velvet Sponge better. So now we're going to go in with concealer just to kind of see how it works with that. Real Techniques one doesn't really have like a flat side on there. We're just going to use both of the fluffy sides.
Right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love.
Okay, now after the concealers, I can tell the Velvet Sponge did cover up my under eye circles better than with my Real Techniques brush. I feel like the Real Techniques one is actually sucking in more of the product. So now we're gonna go in with setting powder. I'm not gonna be baking. I'm just gonna kind of be using it just to set my under eye, just so that way we can kind of use it in a good comparison kind of way. I don't want to be like baking and then like use another brush to take it off, so we're just going to be setting it with both sponges. For my setting powder, I'm going to be using the Airspun loose face powder. Again, we're going to go in with the fatter side on both brushes. Now after the setting powder, I will say though that the Velvet Sponge picks up less powder when you're dipping it in, but it kind of applies better. And the Real Techniques one, I kind of felt like I had to go like dip it in twice for it to get like more powder, and I was getting kind of the same amount on my face, but this one I kind of had to dip twice in order to get more on the sponge. Again, I don't know if it's because this one kind of soaks in stuff a little bit more, and since this one's velvety and it kind of has like the little hairs, it doesn't let the sponge soak up as much as the product. Now if you look at it, this sponge kind of looks a little bit dirtier than this one, so I feel like all the product kind of just stays on like the little hairs of the velvetiness, and this one just kind of like soaks it in. So let me finish the rest of my makeup and then I'll be back. And okay, so this is the finished look with the eye makeup, the lashes, the brows, the highlighter, the blush, all of that stuff. So I think, honestly, I think the Velvet Sponge won in this situation, because I feel like the Velvet Sponge side looks a lot more airbrush, a lot more even than the Real Techniques one. I mean, the Real Techniques is still a good sponge, but I feel like I have to use more product in order for it to look the same as the Velvet Sponge. If I was to buy a sponge, I would go with the Velvet Sponge. I mean, it's only $6, it's free shipping. It's honestly a really good sponge. The only thing I would say that I don't like is the bottom part of it. It does feel a little bit rough. I mean, I guess it really wouldn't matter when you're putting on like foundation and stuff, but I just don't like the feel of it. It's not, it won't scratch you, but it's just like not as soft as like the rest of the sponge. And it comes in this little packet, and it's a microfiber velvet sponge. It says, if you're looking for a more natural airbrush foundation finish, the JUNO microfiber velvet sponge is your go-to. It does give me more coverage. I do look more natural. I do look a little bit more evened out than with the other side. So I would say if you're going to buy a sponge and you don't want to spend the money on the Beauty Blender, this is a great sponge. Honestly, I love it. And I used to love the Real Techniques one, but honestly after this, I feel like this one is just like a game changer. I 100% recommend this sponge. Honestly, I just want to buy more because I don't even want to go back to my Real Techniques one. Like, it works the exact same. It's a little bit squishier. It doesn't feel wet though. That is a really weird thing that I noticed. Like, I know it's wet because I wet it and it did get bigger, but like it just doesn't feel damp. 1 out of 10, I would definitely give it a 10 on the scale. Maybe a 9 because of that bottom, but let's just give it a 9.5 just to be fair. So this is the finish part of the review, I guess. This is the end of the review. This is the end. Well, that's it, you guys. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to put on the little notification bell. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions on things that I should compare to next, make sure you leave it down on the comments section below. Thanks again for coming by, and bye!